my understanding is that the real guides, they work with the totality of life, and as you say, it's possible uh, for some other for so- for other groups to come in contact with the real guides, because they, they they are for all life. Um, there is talk of an immortal being who lives in the wilds of the Himalayas, and is known in the East as Babaji, who is called the master of all life, and he teaches uh, all those who yearn for the life beyond, who want to understand life. It teaches the sages, the masters of all walks of life, and it belongs to no religion. It's just a mysterious being who appears uh, in the wilds of the Himalayas. Could this Babaji also be Rebisar Tarzs?
Well, I'm sure Rebisar plays many roles, and it's just a role playing, etc. So again, sure, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to, come into what they do, and so the ideas that go out into the world. It's like a story. It's like if there's a treasure somewhere, and then stories start because of this. The original idea, somebody buried the treasure, and of course there's probably many, several people that knew about it, and sure, eventually most people, they go to the tavern, they get drunk, they start talking or whatever, and then somebody overhears something, etc. And one thing is changed into another. So again, it can be so, but I hear these things. We all do. We have all these ideas here, and I look at the ideas, and I see them. They're just ideas, just like a name is an idea. But I just look through it to what the reference is, and anybody can use the new you. Anybody can set up anything they want with it and do whatever. Again, it's it only has some kind of meaning if it is truly relates to the isness life is. So I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there, and Harry's doing it too, and Joni, they're taking what I've written and utilizing it, which is fine. But they're pivoting off of their personal life. So what they're doing is that what they're presenting with whatever, it comes to the point of fooling people, because again, people hear the words like Harry on stage or the president or the Pope talking. They hear the words, and so within themselves, they're thinking in those terms. And that doesn't mean that just because they have the words that they're recognizing the true reality life is. So, this individual or anybody else, whatever these, again, see, I just listened to what you just said. This person knows the whole of life or whatever. Okay, well, that sounds good. And realistically, what does that mean? Myself, I already have the new you. I already have the reference. I already have the relationship. So what other people are doing in the world, that's fine. It doesn't matter. And everybody can do the same thing, and it can appear differently. I don't know, because life is endless. It really doesn't matter. But many times the ideas of things the sound good ideas of things is what takes people to another position. In other words, this is where they don't really recognize that they're no longer interested in what is real. They're only interested in the ideas that others created. So when you have that label on there, this fella knows the whole of life, well, that's fine. But many times people are just label chasers, is what they are. Just like the corporation members, they call themselves ecists, etc. And so they're basically become label chasers. and they've given their will over to Harry, you see, that becomes the difference. We don't do that. And the real guides, keep in mind, that's just what they are. They're the guidance, but it's really your experience with this isness and how you decide to stand real with it. That really is, you might say, the ultimate with life, is to recognize and stand real with it, and not so much the ideas that are taking place in time and space. If it's workable, if it makes sense, I'd say yes, do it. It's just like us warning people about the vaccines as an idea. I mean, that's a one-dimensional, low-life thing, but at the same time, it's affecting, basically all of the population. So I would say that it makes sense to, present this in its own particular way to the world, and many other things like the water and the air and the chemtrails, etc. Because we're all living on the planet. We all have bodies. And you notice the corporation and, basically even your basic religions and political system. These are predominant on the world. These are predominant things that are supposed to be, they're supposed to be something that they're really not. And do they refer to these things? No. Yeah, not at all. And the world's dying and being poisoned, but they don't. So again, what makes sense? Yes. So what makes sense? So this is where things become diverse. For the few people that stand real with what is being presented here, and it's been proven on the real side with the Vessel Project, with the university, etc. It's been confirmed, and these individuals were focused on this. And what the rest of the world does, it's fine. The sound good stuff. Again, this is what a lot of people chase. They chase sound good things, and they're really not interested. It's just like when I used to do my lectures in the public. What I realized after a while is that many of these people came just to confirm their own ideas of things. That's all. They just wanted a confirmation of what they already had decided. And I saw that a lot. And this is what people want too. So they have their position. Even Ekis, they're out there looking at things. And really what they want is they want a confirmation of what they've already agreed to. That's all. Yeah, they're not really looking for so-called truth, because everybody has their own truth, or real truth. They're not interested in that. They only want to feel comfortable with what they've already decided. And so they just really, they'll look out there, they'll look at a few things, but they'll just go, well, I'm an Ekis, I have my membership, and, it's the Mahanta. You see, they'll use these ideas, see? And what do we say? Okay, if they're interested, we say, if you're really interested, and it just depends, but for the most part, I say that, sing the New You and ask Rebisar Tarzs. That's all, just test it. Do it or don't, We're not saying this is for you. You have to decide, because it's a huge journey. So it's very simple, but at the same time, we have creation, and we have the ability to create. So, we're going to have all these ideas always out there. And so very few people can really make sense of what's really taking place. And for me, in the personal sense, it's easy because I have this personal side of myself, and I have the real awareness. Well, the real awareness stands real in the is, but the personal sense is in creation, must deal with the variables and the effects of it. So in this personal sense, I simply have fun with utilizing the recognition of what the sun is demonstrating. I just use that idea for the personal sense is all. That's all. Just kind of like wearing a t-shirt with a label on it. So that's something I play with in the personal sense. So again, Charles, when we start mixing these ideas or old ideas with what we're doing, then it starts to become something else, you see. And so, and there are things out there, respectfully, just like all the systems. It's fine, but I'm not focused on them, not interested in changing them. not interested in agreeing with them. It's fine. I'm fine with everything. It's like, go do your thing. But, again, you decide. It's your decision. And this is where, like many times, people are all of a sudden, they decide to go with a sound good idea. And so, realistically, what does that even matter? Rebisar Tarzs is already there. What does it matter what he's doing on the other side of the world? That's his life and his business, just like I'm doing. All I care about is that he's Rebisar Tarzs. We'll use that as an example, and that's it. I'm fine with that. I don't have to go any further. But again, people are taken away with the ideas of things. You see, the labelization of it. And people will exaggerate these things into what? So again, look through it and see what's really there. Just like Harry. And, when he comes out on stage, it's, the living neck master, the Mahanta, the blah, 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 the blah, 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 etc. All the ceremonial ideas that are presented about him. But when we look at the real Harry and the real intent and what they're really doing, boy, you see a big difference, don't you? It's not hard to see. And ask Claudia here, and ask some of the people that have seen him in pure black darkness. And so, again, but not everybody wants to see that. They like the cute little ideas of things. So, again, Rebisar is already there. And, yeah, it's a heck of a focus because most people, again, they're basically bored with their life, so they don't really have a real intent about things, or they really don't want to see things as they really are. So, yes, this is a challenge. But again, all we can do is present it. That's why I call it the new presentation, and people make the choice. So we have everything out there already. Everything is out there, and we're continually adding to this thing and blending in with relationships, and really kind of, you might say in a way, bowing down to the nonsense that people have created just to see if they will pay attention a little bit to what we're doing. A lot of these things Paul wouldn't even relate to. He didn't even want to discuss them. But, we're doing a lot of funny stuff out there, and we're looking funny at the same time doing it. But I'm fine with it. I'm fine with all the confrontation, whatever it is. Yeah, whatever it is. To be hated by everybody, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Because it doesn't change the reality of what is, what we're really doing. So again, yes, thank you for bringing that up, Charles. Yeah, again, it takes a lot. I go through many areas so that people better understand, because the world has confused itself. That's why I have to go through all this explanation. I don't have to, but I decide to, because the world has so confused itself with nonsense and keeps chasing nonsense. Well, go do it. So I'll take the time to explain it the best that I can, according to what makes sense. But if people want to chase nonsense, hey, go do it. Go chase it. They're just ideas. And ask Rebisar. That's all you have to do is just ask Rebisar. So, I'm not going to ask him because I don't care. I just focus on the is. I don't ask him anything. I just stand real with it, and I just do what I do. And deal with the world, the silly world as it is. That's what I do. I don't ask questions. But some people do, and then again, that gives you a prompt to create a relationship or share ideas. So when they do ask the question, yes. So yes, we do deal with that, and so does Ava and I. We do deal with that, and we have fun with that. So yes, thank you for asking, Charles.
Thank you, Duane. Why I ask this question is because you see, when you listen to people speak and you read some other things that people have written, you can discern that they have some ideas about the isness of life, the isness, and they don't belong to the new presentation. And but when you want to tell them about the new presentation, there is a reaction which is in the opposite direction. So I don't. What I was. You've just said in this case, people can figure out how to approach this kind of people, how to present the new presentation. Yeah, because I want to think that maybe the methods we are using are so direct that people recoil. People, the truths are so hard that they hit people, and there is a reaction within them that they tend to rebel, and so I want to think that one has to soften the message. One has to be very sometimes when you've gauged your audience, because what is it that governs discourse? It is the topic, the audience, and the place. Yeah. So if you look at all this, you take these factors into consideration, I think that everybody who is trying to awaken people with the new presentation will know how to approach the audience, because to just dump everything in front of them, there's this recoiling, there's this rebellion when the truth hits so hard. So my suggestion is that we could look for some creative ways, less incisive ways to present the message in such a way that it falls on people like they say, like a thief in the night, just comes, and before they realize it, something has happened. Yeah, because I want to think that the new presentation is like a bombshell that we're hitting people with, and they are recoiling and they are rebelling, So I think new friends, me included, we have to look for some softer ways where the videos are there and many other things. The talks are there by Duane, but your talks are matter of factly, and they are a given. You either take them, you either take what Duane is saying, or you leave it. You see, so it leaves some people really bad off. That's just my impression. I may be wrong. Somebody may correct me.
Well, look at the business world, Charles. Anything in the business world. Look at the military as an example. I can pick anything in this world that's been created. It's all like that. It's all up front. So again, ask Chris when he went through boot camp. He wanted to be the soldier. Well, they didn't start him off playing with little plastic men in the dirt. Okay, they gave it to him the moment he stepped off the bus, you see. So, and actually, we have a huge variety of things. I mean, we have the homeschool, okay, Charles. Everybody can start there, They can sit around with 2- and 3-year-old kids and play with blocks if they want. See, and then we have the university. We have all kinds of things. So it's already a given. And of course, nobody can take it all at once, but you look at the world itself, look at your job, look what it took you to get to that. It's very matter of fact. They don't mess around. You aren't playing patty cake there and they're going to pay you. You got to do your job. That's just how it is, or you're out the door. And so it's just like that. So when you walk outside, if the sun's too hot and you can't take it, what do? You run back inside. Is the sun going to be less hot because you can't take it? So it's time to where this is a wake up. That becomes the difference. It's not about what people think about it. It's about, do you want to wake up? Or do you want to just stay as you are? Again, it's choice. So you can't make everything perfectly for everybody. And just like we are here right now in the world is lucky we are here. It's very fortunate that we are here, because if we weren't, if I didn't do this, if I didn't create this and put this together, I had decided to do this, then I wouldn't be here. And that would be it. So just by the very fact that it's here, look at it that way. How fortunate people are. Whether it's hardcore to them or whatever, it's still that we're here. That's what's important. And hey, Rebisar and the boys, they scare people too. Real truth is scary. And this is where, again, the true reality of life is, it's huge. And so at what point do you not do it? Again, I see that I feel I'm always grateful every moment that I can recognize this and present it. And I'll gladly take the risk to do so, because it's the only thing that's real. And so if it bothers a lot of people, well, that's part of their wake up, to be bothered, not to be comforted. We're not babies anymore. And usually that, people are comforted. Many times mothers raise their children till they're 30 or 40, living at home and still watching TV, and they don't want to go to work or be self-sufficient. I taught my daughter to be self-sufficient at a very early age. So again, it's, when people react like that, what they're really saying is that they don't want to wake up. They want to be pampered. Is that what you want to do? Remember what Paul said when he was with the corporation? He said, we are not a spiritual welfare system. Do you know what that means? In other words, we're not here to pamper people. We're not here to drag them along. You see, the idea is that step up, and just like, Claudia has an experience, and many others, where she was presented with Paul, wrote and presented, and she asked the question, well, what is this? And he said, figure it out. That was it. I take a lot of time to explain things here, and we're all over the place. I don't see anywhere basically we're not. We're fine with everything. We're blending into everything so that people have an opportunity like never before, and we have a real understanding that makes sense of everything. And so those people that react, that's something within themselves. Hey, it's wake up time. Sorry. And, these are people that look up in the sky and see the chemtrails and just think, oh, aren't those beautiful? Well, see, again, is it, we don't want to frighten them to tell them that that's poison, that it's poisoning them, because they probably will react. Well, but that is the world today. That is really the world as it is. And it is time to wake up or don't. And so again, I don't have an answer for that, because it's a personal decision. And so again, I don't go there. All the questions that are asked, everything is fine. Everything is absolutely fine. But it really comes down to the individual deciding. I don't decide for them at all. And so what we've presented out here, again, with the natural environment makes sense. We're making sense of all the senselessness that is in this world. And so I also see that, that if we do things a particular way too much, it becomes a passive system where a lot of people become comfortable in it. And they really don't see what's going on. Now, you're going to have to deal with it. And that is that now people have gotten a misunderstanding of what we're presenting. And I would say that, in a way, becomes worse. So this is why I've set it up the way it is. In other words, trying to play both sides is a toughie. It really is. And so instead of the membership, I've created a position of community supporters, to where people wake up to the environment that they're in on all levels. We'll say we'll use that idea, as opposed to just being a member and thinking that you're being taken care of, you know. So I've created that idea to where people step up and they support it in different ways, as opposed to a membership. And you can see, it's right in front of you, what happens with that, with all the followers of religion, all the followers of politics, and this membership idea. For the most part, people go to sleep. And subconsciously, they just go on with their daily life, their 9-to-5 job, thinking that everything's great, and subliminally, they have their membership there. You see, they go to sleep, Charles. So I would say that when people react to the new presentation, that's a good thing, because it's part of their wake up. You see, that's what we're here to do. Show them how to wake up, not go to sleep, and comfort them and coddle them. We already went through that. So it can only be for those that want to wake up. You see, as you view it like that, and then creatively, do something, of course you're going to coddle them. Of course you're going to answer their questions. That's a given. That doesn't even have to be mentioned, but I'm glad you do mention it. But we are the real wake up now. And what has taken place with the corporation since the day Paul left, and all the conspiracy around it from Darwin to Harold, you might say it was necessary. And it provides this avenue of what is taking place now. And yes, the lawsuit is part of that. It becomes part of the wake up. It's not about an impact. You see, no. That's a mental view, a mental emotional view. The reality overall is it's part of the wake up for people to see what's really taking place and have a comparison to eventually recognize the is. See, that's the fun part. Yes, I've made it fun. I don't want it to be boring.